Hey, everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh. Thank you for spending some time with me today listening to the pod. Here's what we're talking about today. These everyday stressors that can be leading you closer to relapse without you even realizing it. People say to me all the time, like, I don't even know how it happened, or it was a split-second decision. But that really is never the case, right? And I did a whole episode about this, the stages of relapse, and I will link that in the show notes if you want to go back and listen to that one. But relapse really is something that builds up over the course of time. And it may only be a day or a few days, but it might be weeks, it might be months. But it is rarely really a split-second decision. It's been building up in your head longer than that. And the number one thing I want you to understand in the addiction recovery equation is that it's all emotion-based. Not to say that's the only component, because it's not, but at the core of addiction is a desire to change how you feel. Whether it's making your happy happier or quieting the noise in your head. That's what I always used to say. I drink so much to quiet the noise in my head. Or taking the edge off of stress so you can relax, or numbing what you don't want to feel at all. It's never about the substance. It's about wanting to feel different. And substance is the fastest way to do that. The point of this episode is I want you to understand how the daily events in our lives are really stressful, and that leaves you compromised and vulnerable and weakened, and that's what leads you to relapse. You're compromised every day, and if you don't do anything to feel better, to regulate your nervous system so that you can make better decisions, then you will always be prey for alcohol. It's the little things, traffic, work, family events. Those are the things sabotaging your sobriety, the everyday stressors leading you closer to relapse without you even realizing it. So let's uncover these 10 daily stressors that we all experience every day. And I'm going to throw in some extras also that I think are equally significant. But I want you to hear these so that you can put some solutions in place and avoid future relapses. You have to understand what's leaving you compromised on a daily basis so you can do things to refuel your tank. That's what it's all about. When you are constantly giving away all of your energy to all these life stressors, you have to do things to replenish that energy. That's what will re-strengthen you and allow you to make better choices and stay strong and stick to your goals and breaking those bad habits and making new, better habits. But if you're constantly vulnerable and weakened and tired and exhausted and worn out by all the stressors, and you don't do anything to refuel yourself, then you're constantly going to be vulnerable and in a weakened state. And then we make really crappy decisions because we make decisions for all the wrong reasons in that state of mind. So what are the top 10 causes of stress? A lot of stressors are related to major life changes, right? And you'll hear that as we go through here. Some of them are really obvious, and you hear a lot: moving, getting married, having babies, that kind of stuff. Of course, huge stressors. Number 1 is job stress. Challenges related to your job or your workload at your job or your work environment. Like if you have issues with coworkers, all of those things are hugely stressful and eat up your mind space and eat up your energy. Financial issues. This is number 2. Concerns about debt, about savings, about financial future and what that's going to look like, and how am I going to retire, and how am I going to put my kids through college, and what if we have medical emergencies? And there's the next one: health concerns, personal health and health of family members. Certainly, as we get older in life, right, we have to start thinking about becoming caretakers for our parents. And that's huge. If somebody has major health issues that just needs extra help, of course, we're all going to jump in and want to help and be a part of that. Those are huge stressors. Number 4, relationship difficulties, problems with partners, family members, friends. When your relationships are out of whack, you think about that stuff all the time, especially if you're the one instigating it, right? Like when I was younger, I was at the core of a lot of my drama and a lot of my relationship problems. My sponsor said to me once, Angela, in all your failed relationships, what's the common denominator? Well, it's me. I'm the common denominator. And I had to start really looking at that, right? I can't just sit back and think, oh, why does this always happen to me? Well, it doesn't happen to me. I'm creating it. I'm causing it through my own behaviors and actions and bad decisions and lack of boundaries, all those things. So relationship difficulties can be really challenging. Again, especially if you feel like you're at the core of your relationship issues. The next one is lack of time. I feel this a lot. This one really resonated with me. Feeling overwhelmed by responsibilities and not having the time or not feeling like you have the time to get everything done or manage all the responsibilities. That is probably my number one. Next one, major life changes, like I talked about a minute ago, marriage, having babies, losing somebody, death, of course, that's a major life change. Starting or stopping a job, starting a new job or leaving an old job, right? These are all major life changes that create stress because you're forced, when you have a major life change, you're forced to recalibrate and start doing things differently. And that can feel overwhelming. Like, oh, wow, I've got to get up at a different time to go to my new job, or I have to drive a different route, or the commute is longer, or there's going to be more traffic in this one. And that stresses me out, right? It just creates a level of unknown that now you have to figure out all again, and it takes away some of your daily comfort. So those things are stressors. Children and family, just the demands of parenting and managing a household is overwhelming for anyone. You've probably heard me say this before if you've been following me for any length of time. I say this all the time. It's like crazy to me how people can be married and have kids and run households, and then they get scared about whether or not they're going to be able to stay sober. I'm like, are you kidding me? Sobriety to me is not nearly as hard as raising kids, for sure. I mean, kids are incredible, but holy shit, you guys, that is hard. And it's a lot, and it's relentless. And it's so much worry and stress. Like it's a lot. Sobriety is never that hard. So if you can do those things, I promise you can do sobriety 1,000%. Number 8, being too busy. I know all my people pleasers right now are nodding their heads on this one, right? Overcommitment. You overcommit yourself to activities or tasks, and that eats up your energy. It also creates a psychology, right? When you overcommit yourself, and I can be guilty of this too, certainly in work stuff. I just don't like to say no. I don't like to say no when people need an emergency coaching session or something's going on, they need a phone call or whatever. I have a really hard time saying no to that stuff. So I can definitely overcommit. But what happens is you overcommit and then you're stressing about being overcommitted. And then we go back to number 5, lack of time, feeling overwhelmed, lacking the time to do the things, right? And then you get mad. And you're really usually mad at yourself, but you really usually take it out on whoever you overcommitted yourself to. So think about that. My people pleasers, think about this. It is not good or healthy or beneficial for anyone to overcommit, right? Number 9, personal safety concerns. Worrying about your safety or the safety of loved ones. And most of us with addiction, not most of us, I would say all of us, with addiction, we have a higher level of anxiety, right? So worrying about personal safety is kind of just a daily thing, whether it's health or physical safety, whatever it may be. That's a daily concern especially for people with anxiety. And the last one in these top 10, social isolation, feeling disconnected from others. This is a huge daily stressor. Human beings are pack animals. We are made to go together, right? We are made to function together and support one another in functioning. So if you are socially isolated, you are not doing yourself any favors. You need that connection with other people to get through life, to feel comfort, to feel acceptance and love and kindness, and also to give those things. We are made to give those things too. And if you're not connected to other people, you also are not able to give nurturing and affection and love and acceptance. So being isolated is detrimental all the way around. Now, the extra ones I want to throw in here because I think they're really, really big and equally as important as those top 10 we just went through, because again, they're daily. These are the things that you're going to dismiss as little things that are actually really big, significant things that are eating away at your energy, that are eating away at your happiness, leaving you vulnerable and needing some sort of quick fix to change how you feel. You need to feel better. You need to have some relief. That's how you end up vulnerable to having another drink and relapsing again, right? The first one is traffic. Daily commute to and from work, being stuck behind the wheel of your car or in public transportation if you have to take a bus or a train, right? You're stuck in that space. People get really emotional about traffic. It kind of freaks me out. My father is like this. He's so freaking emotional about all the traffic and everything that every other driver is doing. And it's maddening. Like, I don't even like to be in the car listening to him complain about it. It's overwhelming. It's way too anxiety ridden for me. And I just can't give away my energy to dumb stuff like that, like what other people are doing. Like, it's just none of my business. I just need to make sure that I'm doing the best I can do in my car, But traffic is huge. This is something people get really emotional about, and that will eat up so much of your energy. Another one that is so important now is managing technology. And this is another one that I fall into that really resonated with me, keeping up with emails, social media, constant communication through technology. I have days that I feel like my life doesn't even belong to me, right? I get hundreds of emails every single day. I have multiple email addresses, and I know you can all relate to this because so many of us have that. You have a work email and a personal. I just have multiple businesses, so I have multiple emails in that way and a personal, right? And then you have all the messages on Facebook or Instagram, and you've got to manage all of that. Like, it's a lot. Managing technology is one of my biggest stressors on a daily basis. And I have to be so mindful of it. And I've had to get really good. And this is the part I want you to hear, get really good at setting boundaries around it. I had to adopt a thing this year where when I get up in the morning and I start working, like, my phone stays in the other room. I've also adopted turning my ringer off, for notifications so I don't hear them, because I get so many freaking notifications for every single thing. It's nonstop. And it literally causes stress for the people around me, hearing my phone constantly ding. So I've gotten to where I just turn the notifications off so I don't have to hear it. I put my phone face down so I don't see it light up constantly, right? And then I have times that I set aside a few minutes and I go check that stuff and try to catch up. I have specific times on my calendar each week that are set aside just for email. So I have those couple of hours to just go through email and delete things and respond to things. I've had to get really good at setting boundaries around technology. And that's the piece that I want you to hear in all of these, is how can you start setting some healthy boundaries for yourself so that you're not giving away every piece of your energy and just being in a constant state of stress all the time, because it will lead you straight to relapse. And the last one I want to talk about is decision making. And I've done a whole episode about this too, decision fatigue, right? Your brain gets tired. Literally, your brain gets tired of making decisions because it has to make thousands of decisions all day, every day. And when you get into the big decisions, right, about your kids, about your finances, about your career path, about your personal life and relationships and family relationships. Those are big, important decisions. And the bigger that decision is, the more stressful it's going to be and the more it's going to eat up your energy. You have to do things to replenish your energy stores, to get your nervous system back to a state of calm so that you can make better decisions. Because if you are constantly compromised, you are constantly vulnerable, which means stressed out and tired. That's what that means. We all function stressed out and tired on a daily basis. And the more you want to run your tank on empty, the more vulnerable you're going to be to relapse. So you have to be doing things. You have to be putting things in place to replenish your energy, to feel better and get your nervous system back to a good, solid space. Now, what are some of those things? There's millions of things. And we talk about a ton of them on this podcast all the time, right? Deep belly breaths, meditation, grounding, laughter. Laughter is huge. Pets, huge. These are all things that can bring back some energy. And a lot of those things you're doing on a daily basis also. Here's another thing that I adopted. I'm not a person that loves comedy, but this is something that I've started doing because laughter is such an important thing in life and really can change your mood and make you feel better and replenish your energy stores. So I started going on YouTube Shorts and watching some comedy shorts. They're short enough that it keeps my attention. And the beautiful thing with short form video like that is they just take the best pieces. So I don't have to sit through a whole comedy stand-up thing that I'm not going to like 80% of it. I can just get the best snippets. I can laugh my head off and it's fantastic. These are the little things you can do. Watch a comedy at night. Watch something for a little while that just makes you laugh before you go to sleep. Do a meditation before you go to sleep. There are so many ways to do this. And you can Google this also. I'm not going to sit here and go through all of them. You probably know most of them, but Google it. Like, how do I replenish my energy stores? How do I relieve stress? How do I get relief from stress? Look these things up and get some ideas and start utilizing the tools that will work for you. Not everybody is going to be a meditator. Not everybody likes to journal. Not everybody is going to do grounding, right? Go like barefoot in the grass. Like a lot of these things, you're going to go, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That sounds dumb, whatever. That's what we do as human beings. We figure out first why we won't do everything. But I want you to figure out what you will do, so that you can feel better and not relapse. This is what it means to work on yourself and work on your recovery. You have to make better choices for yourself. Recognizing your stressors is the first step toward managing them effectively. You have to identify what triggers that stress for you on a regular basis so you can take proactive steps to mitigate those feelings. And practice some mindfulness, set boundaries, prioritize your tasks, prioritize how you spend your time, and set boundaries like I was talking about with my phone. Turn those notifications off, put your phone face down, leave that damn thing in the other room. I even have gotten to the place where I can turn my phone off for a little while. Like I literally will just turn it off. It feels really good. But these are the things that will help you maintain a healthy lifestyle and will help you maintain your sobriety. I hope you found so much valuable information in this episode. I hope it was helpful for you, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.